All right, Bam, we're live.
We're live.
All right, when Grant inevitably walks in, you can get on to him.
Who is this Grant guy? You guys got to fill me in on this guy.
He just
Oh
comments.
man,
He's nobody. He does. He's he has a meme page.
it's actually pretty good.
A very popular meme page. There he is. Yeah. It's got Grant. How many followers do you have? I think it's like 20,000.
It's a lot. Let's just see.
What should be like 3,000? I'm thinking of some other meme guy.
No, 12.3 Grant or 12.3 thousand.
So
That's
Daniel,
pretty solid.
Grant is new to CrossFit. Okay, he got bit by the bug very recently, and so he's incredibly annoying about it because that's how people are when they first get bit by the CrossFit bug. And so he just, he literally listens to every podcast. He's just in everything. He asks all the questions. He actually has his own podcast where 3 other Christian guys talk about random things. But I'm one of those guys. But we haven't had a podcast in a month or so. So I don't know what happened to that. But
It's good too.
yeah, he runs that one. I don't have to do anything. I just have to show up. Anyway, for the 4 people that are watching, this is Daniel. This is the 4 people, Kenneth and Grant, and then probably Brock's wife and my wife.
Your parents will jump in soon.
Yeah, sometimes my parents jump in. But,
I saw your mom in the comments last week.
Yeah. So, we just thought it would be more fun with 3 people. Brock, you want to talk about Notre Dame letting you down, or do you want to bring up whatever topic you have?
It's not. It is what it is.
Are you rooting for anybody in college, Daniel?
Pretty much, you know how I am. Anybody not Ohio State.
Okay, so you're on the Texas train.
Yeah, I'm on the Texas train.
I think we're all on Team Texas.
It's really it does it kind of aggravates me a little bit, and I mean no particular reason, but so the whole argument, and I was in on the argument because I'm a SEC guy. Well, the whole Alabama, South Carolina, Ole Miss, like all these people that didn't make it in, everybody was talking trash, like, oh, we should have made it in, they should have made it in, blah blah blah. Dude, the SEC has sucked in the bowl games outside of the playoffs.
Hey, Mizzou did their part. We tried not to.
Yes, they did.
They tried not to, but they ended up doing it.
Carolina did not do their part.
This has been the greatest Vanderbilt year of all time.
I know. Diego, man. Yeah. He's getting them right.
Yeah, Carolina disappointed me. They played awful.
Who'd they play?
Illinois.
That's right. Him and Bielema got into it, like just flexing on each other, right?
Dude, and I mean, I'm a Shane Beamer guy, but in my opinion, he made himself look like an idiot. Like, dude, just freaking play the game. Come on. Like, come on, man. I mean, I get it. I mean, I say that, but a lot of times I can be impulsive with my anger, and I would have probably done the same thing. But from a fan watching, it's like, dude, is this middle school or what?
Go ahead, Daniel.
I think it just I mean, you comment on this, John, but I think it just kind of epitomizes the profession that is college coaching. I'll be completely frank there. Like, you have some of the most overgrown children that run college programs. It's just
Well, you would know this more than anybody on the panel.
Wow. I'm watching that, man. Well, like, dude, what is this? Exactly right. Is this middle school playground or what are we doing? But whatever.
Who do you root for? Because you live in Tennessee. I don't think you're rooting for Tennessee.
Football?
Yeah.
Like college football?
Yeah. Like if you had your pick of the litter.
I mean, you have to go with the Dukies. I'm just a terrible alumni.
Yeah. I guess Duke's just not good at football.
You're exactly right. And yeah, I can't say anything beyond that.
Are you keeping up with Cooper?
I've seen not much, but dude, the dunk he threw down last night.
It was pretty vicious.
That was nice.
It's
I
pretty
didn't see
vicious.
that.
Dude, it's pretty as on somebody as you can be. I would say it's not like the most athletic where he just jumps over somebody, but it's about as on somebody as it can be.
Well, I mean, he's not going to jump over anybody. He's what, like 6'9", 6'10"?
Well, LeBron's 6'9", and he jumps
LeBron
over
is not
people.
6'9".
He's around there.
LeBron or MJ?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brock knows my answer. I don't know where this is coming from. Trying to start a fight right now.
So back in my naive and ignorant years, I would have argued for LeBron, but definitely MJ.
Oh, okay. Grant, LeBron or MJ?
Oh, Grant's a big MJ guy.
I'm an MJ guy. I just don't like LeBron. It's not. It has in.
Speaking
I guess
like a
from my
Democrat.
side.
What?
On my side,
You just don't like somebody, so you ignore facts.
I don't.
I get it. I get it.
I don't.
You're really going to argue LeBron, JY?
Yeah, I think LeBron's the greatest of all time. I think he's the greatest basketball player that's ever lived. I think people are far better than they are. I think people are far better now than they were back then, in general, as a whole.
I'll give you that athletic.
I think if you want to say, I think Michael Jordan was ahead of his time more. But like, if just straight up, one for one, yes, he was more dominant. But one for one, straight up, I think LeBron is the greatest basketball player that we've ever seen. Same thing, same argument when Matt Fraser only had three CrossFit titles. He's the fittest man we have ever seen. He's the fittest man in history. People want to argue Rich Froning's the greatest of all time because he had the most impact, and he has. He's not fitter than Matt.
That brings up a good point.
That's my argument with LeBron. It just is.
Do you think there would be as many MJ people, and when I say MJ people that think he's the best ever, if the brand Jordan wasn't what it was or wasn't what it is?
It's a part of it. Like Jordan has the mystique. He made basketball the worldwide sport that it is. Like it's, I think, we go to China, people say Kobe's the greatest of all time. Like just because he had the most influence there. I think Michael Jordan's had the most influence out of everybody ever. But it's the same deal with saying Rich is the fittest man in the world. You don't think Rich is the fittest man ever, like history. You don't think that. Why do you not think that? Because you know it's not true. But he had the most influence. Did he not?
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think Michael was really just ahead of his time. A lot. By a lot. So, do you think Jim Brown's the greatest running back of all time? Daniel?
No.
No, you don't.
No.
Who would you say?
Oh boy. Well, it was cut short, but if he had been able to have a full career, Bo Jackson, I think.
I disagree with that, but it's not a bad call. I would say Barry Sanders, but
yeah, Barry, yeah, that's a good one. He just couldn't do anything because the
Barry Sanders didn't he didn't win any championships. Yeah. Jim Brown won like 4 or 5. Jim Brown made people look like little boys, right? Why would you not say Jim Brown's the best running back of all time?
I agree.
Barry was never as dominant as Jim Brown. Why would you not say Jim Brown is the most running back of all time?
No, I understand the comparison you're trying to make, but you're talking like, I don't think the difference between what, like athletically, what Michael played in is that much different than what LeBron's playing in now.
And see, I think skill wise, it's just as much of a gap as athleticism wise would be Barry versus Jim Brown.
Well, okay. Then my only other comment would be a
Danny
question.
Ainge was guarding Michael Jordan in the finals. Danny Ainge. Daniel, I think you would beat Danny Ainge. If we're playing, if high school Daniel was playing Danny Ainge, I think you could beat Danny Ainge. You don't think so?
No, dude.
Oh, I
No,
think so,
don't.
dude. Go watch him. Go look up Danny Ainge highlights. There's not any.
I don't have much.
Why
fun.
are you gonna argue the argument?
Well,
So like how do you compare like old school guys and new guys? Like for a very recent example, so Mike Evans just not broke, but I think tied Randy Moss with 11 straight seasons with 1,000 plus yards.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, that's it, not Randy Moss.
dude, he was playing in the 80s. You're not going to say that's a gap?
Yeah, so how do you compare?
it
like
is.
how
Yeah,
could you
it's a
would you
huge
say
gap.
Mike Evans
Yeah.
is better?
Jerry Rice has 10,000 more receiving yards than Mike Evans.
I would argue Randy Moss, because Randy Moss played when it was still legal to take someone's head off. But
Yeah.
he played when people were much better than they were in the 80s.
He's saying Mike Evans versus Jerry Rice though. I think Randy Moss. I would take Randy Moss over Jerry Rice too. Honestly, I would take Justin Jefferson over everybody.
No, it's game's too soft now. You
But
can't do the modern
I'm
receiver.
Slightly biased.
Well, yeah, that's
But that same argument, do you not think the NBA is softer now?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like defensively, that would be my only argument.
It is
for
way
MJ.
softer, but it's because they're more skilled now.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
I don't know what this question is.
You're arguing that the defense isn't as good because they're more skilled, and we're saying they can
I think
be.
people are much better at shooting now than they were.
Okay, I'll
then.
give you that.
And it's harder to play defense when you got to play defense against 40 feet. Now, I'm not going to argue it is softer. It is. But people want people who can shoot. They don't want Ben Wallace. You know, Ben Wallace was just there to just knock people out. Like Ben Wallace was an enforcer. Like it's like in the NHL, they don't have enforcers anymore because people got too skilled. People want people who can handle the puck. They don't want people who just fight.
Or is the argument that it's no longer legal to enforce? Think about it.
I think it's a little of both. I think it's a little of both.
I would say if you have a Ben Wallace taking guys' heads off now, he's getting ejected, he's getting fined, he's not seeing a paycheck. You don't have an enforcer anymore.
I get it. I think it's a little of both. I think the NBA is a league, and it's just a different era, and it's hard to argue different eras, right? But want skill and I don't know, less thug violence type stuff. Is that fair?
I'll give you like the Pistons.
You want Ben Wallace? You want Ben Wallace or you want Stephen Curry? Who would you rather be the face of your league?
No, I understand. I'm not saying what they did was perfect. I'm just if you're trying to argue the eras, like there was no fear. Steph has no fear that someone's going to come out and take his legs out from underneath him, whereas MJ did. So like that changes how you play the game quite a bit.
Sure. But I just think if Steve Kerr is playing solid minutes, it's not that rough.
How is Steve Kerr able to play? My argument would be that you had to be able to get away with stuff for Steve Kerr to be able to play.
I'm just saying, if Steve Kerr's not like, you're telling me Steve Kerr is like played in the hardest era of basketball, the toughest era of basketball. Like, I get what you want to say, but I will pull people that would lose to a fight to Brock.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, Brock's a very nice guy. I don't think he would fight very many people. Like that's
Dude, the nice guys are the ones you got to worry about.
Yeah, I don't know. Brock doesn't have a mean bone in his body.
Oh, I do. I try to hide it.
I've never seen
Not hide it, but
in a mean way.
Bring back men playing in the NBA. Your dad's hilarious, dude.
Hey, the sad part about this comment is that I think I probably watched more WNBA than NBA this year. I watched like
Is it because
maybe,
of Caitlin Clark?
yeah. I probably watched half of Caitlin Clark's games. Like to a point where like if I didn't like look up her schedule or anything, but like if they were on every time she played. And like it pops up like on YouTube TV, it says, stuff that people are watching, like it's like live right now. It's always up there. And then if she was playing, I was watching it. Like if I was watching TV, if I was watching TV at the time, and I haven't watched one NBA game. I'm way less of an NBA fan than I used to be. I was thinking about this earlier. I remember when I was young and my dad didn't care about the NBA anymore. And I was like, how do you not? Like, it's so awesome. Like Allen Iverson he's so small and he's just destroying these monsters, right? And he's like, you just, other stuff becomes more important. And I just thought it was blasphemy. And then it's coming to it's coming to pass. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm not much of an NBA guy. If all I have to watch is the NBA, I'm probably just going to cut the TV off.
I don't watch a lot of basketball, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either. I used to get really into March Madness, but then I don't know. I just kind of quit. I do get pretty into football, but I honestly I don't get into that as much as I used to.
Football, you just got to
whenever your teams suck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's a Panthers fan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's rough.
And then you go screw your freaking playoff pick and you go beat the Falcons. Like, dude, if you lose that game, there's a very good chance that you get first round pick.
Who would you
number
pick?
one pick?
Are you done with Bryce Young? If the answer is do you want the number one pick? Does it matter?
I would probably get Jonte. I don't know because Chuba Hubbard's been playing pretty good, but I don't know.
No way they're going to take that. They got like the fourth pick. They're not going to take that guy.
We need a whole lot more than one player. I know that's a fact.
Do you root for the Titans, Daniel?
No, I would say I root for players.
They have the number one pick. You can get excited. It's exciting times in Tennessee, man.
Yeah, man. I have no team. I'm a nomad.
You should pick a team. You should get on the board. Man, you could have been on the Sam Darnold train. It's so much fun until last week. Last week wasn't fun, but
I'm happy for him, man. I'm glad he found a spot where he's succeeding.
I am too. It's going to be sad when he leaves. But
yeah.
I need to start doing fantasy football. I've always said that I was going to, and I just never have.
It'll get you into it.
I need to do that.
The most fun thing is to get your wife into it.
No, that's not going to happen for me.
Because they will care about it. They will care about it more than you will, and it's super fun.
My wife was practically wishing for people to get hurt. It was not healthy.
Like, it's so funny how like serious they end up taking it. You should get her in a league where like you guys have money on the line. Like literally like $50 per participant, and then the winner gets like $400 at the end, or $450, something like that.
That's a pretty good payout.
Because it's still like not even, it's nothing. It's $100 for the two of you, right? And she will treat it like this is the end of the world if you guys don't win $400. And that's like the grand scheme of things. That's not very much.
I feel like it would probably be good for, well, I don't know. I think competition can be good for relationships, friendships, like not even just with your wife, but like
I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I think that's one thing that sets CrossFit apart is the competitive nature with your friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, everybody loves a good family game night. Didn't we talk about that the other day? You said, what was that game you were talking about?
Catan.
Catan. That's it. I need to write that down. I need to remember that. I don't know what just made me think of that.
It's a great one. It's the greatest game there is. There's no better game.
I'm a Yahtzee guy.
If you're a Yahtzee guy, then Catan might not be for you, man.
That's just what my family always played was the Yahtzee.
You gotta be okay with sitting at a board for a couple hours to be okay with Catan.
Well, you're talking the whole time, though. Like, I think it's better than Monopoly. You're not waiting forever.
Agreed.
Every turn, you could be doing something.
Have y'all ever played Phase 10? It's
Yes.
a long game.
Yes, I don't remember. It was a year ago.
It's fun, but it takes forever.
One of the girls loved it, and we played it one time. That's all I remember. I don't remember anything.
Your dad didn't want to get in our fantasy league, man?
I don't think I've never approached him about fantasy football ever.
Oh, no. He might actually be talking about the pool at my parents' place.
Like basketball, pool basketball?
He would have wrecked us. He was just being nice to us.
No, it would not be good for me and his relationship. I would get busted in the nose somehow, and then it would just be like, all right, the game's over. That's what would happen.
Yeah.
5 Crowns. Is that a game?
I would pay money for him and Steve to go at it, though. Hey, how he's lost a lot of weight. He's a lot smaller now.
Yeah, he's working out, right?
I don't know. He's just not eating, but I know he's working out too. But I'm just saying, Steve might. How much does he weigh? Do you know?
Yeah, he's like 265.
Dude, it would be a battle.
My dad would give it all he had for 30 seconds, dude. And if he didn't get him in, it's over.
That would be such a fun 30 seconds to watch, though. Daniel's dad's he's a pretty decent size too, Brock. Taylor asked, have y'all watched Joe Rogan and Wesley Huff? I don't know who Wesley Huff is. Joe Rogan. I watched the Donald Trump one. I watched the Elon Musk one. That's about it. It's not like a regular.
This one, so you're a big history guy, right, John?
Mm-hmm.
You would really enjoy the Wesley Huff one. Wesley Huff, I didn't know who he was until I saw where he had went on the podcast. But I think he's Canadian, but he's a apologetic historian or something like that. And it's like it's like 3 hours long, but like the first hour and a half it's very deep, like very over your head kind of, or over my head. But they end up talking a lot about, like one of the big things that Joe has voiced that he's hesitant about is the resurrection. And they talk a lot about the resurrection, and then they get into like a lot of Christian history with like Christian persecution that comes from the resurrection. And he uses like the Wesley guy is extremely intelligent, and like him and Joe going back and forth because Joe's very intelligent and with certain things, and it was a really good watch. It was long, but it was like Wesley did a very, very good job at pretty much sharing the gospel, which, Joe's heard the gospel numerous times.
Was he open to it, or is it kind of like a Sevon situation?
I think Joe's a lot more open than Sevon. Like
Really?
Yeah, I think it was interesting. Like he's still, you can tell that there's still certain things that he gets hung up on. But one of the things that Joe was saying is he was like, and he was personally saying this, he was like, he said that one of a quote from, I can't remember the guy's name, some big science guy, and he said
Bill
that
Nye.
it was not Bill Nye, but he said that this guy has a quote saying that they were talking about miracles from the Bible, miracles that Jesus did and all that. And Joe was saying, like, he said, I find it kind of crazy that we'll believe in something like the Big Bang or something like that, but people won't believe some of the miracles in the Bible. And he was saying this guy's quote, basically, this isn't verbatim, but basically he was saying that all science as a whole is based off of one big miracle, which would be the Big Bang. He said if the Big Bang happened, like, that's a miracle. And he was like, if that's the case,
And they can't explain it. It's just
right.
This is
And
what
he was like, if that's the case, then all the stuff that happened that people are claiming that happened in the Bible is extremely minuscule compared to that miracle. So he was like, if people are believing that miracle, he was like, how is it that the stuff that's in the Bible is like too far fetched, kind of. So I mean, the way that he was talking, I mean, he was not at all like, he was questioning, but he wasn't like degrading. He wasn't. I mean, he was, the way I took it, I mean, he was pretty open to a lot and fascinated at a lot of the different things that Wesley went through. But it's deep. Like, it gets pretty deep for a little while. It was one of those things where it was like I was listening to it and I was like, dude, I don't know if I can keep listening. Like, it was way over my head. And then it started getting into Jesus. Yeah, it was right before the end of the year.
Okay.
But I think they just posted it like this weekend, maybe. Let's see.
I feel like we as Christians, we a little bit have like the ultimate cop out with God could do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Like with God, all things are possible. You know, if you were talking about Moses turning his staff into a serpent, that's, if that can happen, literally anything can happen. Like there's, like, if you really think about what that entails, it's a stick. You turn a stick into a living monster.
Yep. Well, a crazy thing. So I just looked it up on YouTube. So a lot of, and I feel like there's a lot of Christians that listen to Joe Rogan also, but a lot of his audience is non-believers. Well, that video with Wesley Huff got, right now, it was posted 2 days ago, and right now it's at 2.9 million views. Like, that's a lot of people hearing the gospel on a secular, very secular show, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, like you just said, you know, God can use anybody. He can do anything. So it's interesting, like, he's using yes, Wesley's a believer and he's on the podcast, but he's using a non-believer to preach the gospel. You know, it's pretty wild.
That's kind of like, in one of the prophets, God uses the term Nebuchadnezzar, my servant. It's like crazy what he actually, like, Nebuchadnezzar was obviously not following God, but he uses the evil powers of this world sometimes to still accomplish his mission, whatever that might be. Like, in that case, I think it was judgment for Israel.
I want to say Jeremiah. That sounds like a doomsday coming to y'all thing. Like, because he's like, I'm gonna use Nebuchadnezzar to destroy all of you, right? That's like him saying, to put it, I don't know if it's quite equivalent, but that'd be like Hitler, my servant. That's really harsh, but that's literally what it was. Like, if I think about that, because it was an extermination of everything they have, a complete takeover.
But yeah, I mean, just think about the different kingdoms that he used. The Assyrians, they were nasty people, man. Nasty people. And that's why Jonah had no desire to go to Nineveh. He's like, nah, they know they
No, I was
got what's
just
coming to
thinking
them.
about that.
I wonder if after the Assyrians, like Nebuchadnezzar, come down, and I'm like, well, this ain't that bad. We've been through the Assyrians.
Well, there's nothing new under the sun, that's for sure.
This is good. For being a Christian, the thing I fight with feel guilty about is I'm afraid to be the Christian that I should be, like totally all in, but also feel guilty about not giving testament of my blessings. I think that's where a lot of, and I find myself there also. That's where a lot of people's land is. You're almost like afraid to. I think it all boils down to, and this is just my opinion, just from personal experience. I think a lot of that boils down to, at the end of the day, we care too much about what other people think. And I think that a lot of times, for me personally, that's what keeps me from sharing like I should, or that's what keeps me from doing something that I feel led to do. Like I always struggle with so I can, just like we started this podcast with, like I can go, I may not know NBA players like other people, but I'll go into a conversation and I'll talk about it like I know it. You know what I mean? Or I'll jump right in the conversation and I'll put my opinion out there or whatever on MJ and LeBron or the NFL or whatever. But I struggle with having a conversation with somebody about those things and then interjecting Jesus in it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm sitting there at work or wherever and I'm in a conversation and somebody brings Jesus up, I can roll with it. Like I'm good. But I have a hard time in like a normal conversation that doesn't relate to Jesus or doesn't have anything to do with religion, Christ, or anything like that. I have a hard time. You go from talking about football to, hey, let me tell you about Jesus. That's what I have a hard time with. You know what I mean?
There's an easy transition there. Like there's this dude, his name was Tim Tebow. Let me tell you.
I'm a
fan
girl.
Let me tell you what God did with him. Okay. Like he wasn't even supposed to be born. It was a miracle. And then he became Tim Tebow. And let me tell you what God can do for you. There you go. Boom.
No, I mean that's for real.
Sell me this pin. That's what. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. And again, I think a lot of times it goes back to, oh, they're gonna think I'm weird, or that, you know what I mean? Well, chances are, Brock, you probably are weird. You probably got a little.
You're called
weird
to be weird.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I know two things I struggle with personally kind of in this realm is, one, the people that, and this is, I'm not saying this is the case for everybody, but the people that seem to be the most forward about it are usually the most fake. So I'm hesitant to necessarily put myself out there because I know what that looks like when someone does that to me. I'm like looking for the catch somewhere. Now that's a bit of an excuse because when it's true and genuine, we should put ourselves out there. So,
would you say those people though that like, I don't disagree with you that the people that do it the most, like, or that are most out there, are only doing it so people think of them as whatever, right? But trying to figure out how to word this. Like, do you think that's just like the Joel Osteens of the world, or do you think that's the mom that goes to church and then tells people that she goes to church? And you don't, and are you afraid of being one or the other? Or being perceived as one or the other?
What's the define the difference between those two a little more for me?
I think Joel Osteen is like not a Christian or at all, and there's no concept of what that is. And like I think it's just a snake oil salesman just for money. Where the mom that goes to church every Sunday, but just because that's what she's supposed to do, right, may like just be confused.
You're
Or
saying
like, are you scared of being perceived as one or the other?
I got you. I would say the first for sure, because that's the one that's obviously like using it for their own devices.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is
like one, I think they care about what people think. The mom that goes to church every Sunday because that's what she's supposed to do, but
Yeah.
doesn't have a real relationship with God. And you don't. I would. You don't want to be perceived as that person. And then, but Joel Osteen is the devil, right? Your words,
Well,
not mine.
I didn't say that. I think the devil's using him for sure. No, I mean, both are situations you don't want to be in. I wouldn't want to be perceived as. I'd rather be obviously perceived as exactly what I am. But if I had to choose, I'd prefer not to be perceived as the devil. Yeah, that'd be ideal. Oh.
I'm saying, like you said, you're scared of being perceived in a certain way. And I don't think maybe I'm biased just because I know you. I don't see how you could ever be perceived in that type of a way.
Yeah, I think I appreciate it, but I think it's just based on past experiences. I'm probably too cognizant, like Brock said, of I think it was what you said, but you both had mentioned it, on what other people think. So based on my past experiences, someone said, like, was all up in my face. I'll be specific. It was a former coach that was very upfront about it all, and turned out to be the complete opposite person. It was all a sales tactic. So yeah, I'm not.
Which
saying
is
that's
weird to me because, like, in today's world, other than obviously your Joel Osteen, TD Jakes, like people like that, they have
I would
something to
argue the guy
gain
he's talking
financially.
about probably falls into that category, but it's people and not money.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see. I see what you're saying now.
Because like people, I feel like there's a good way to go about it though, where you can't be perceived like there's something in it for me.
I think you just got to make sure that your actions back up what you're telling them.
That's the big part. Yeah. And you know what? And maybe that's the second part of it is, okay, I'm putting myself out there in the sense of like I'm claiming Jesus. It's the DC Talk song, right? What if I stumble? What if I fall? What if I fall? What's the next line? Basically make fools of us all, to the sense of like, okay, I put myself out there. Now I'm under the microscope. Again, that's focusing too much on me as opposed to the grace that Christ has given us, knowing that when I do stumble, it's still there. And that could be a testament for me to point back towards him. Not that I should continue on sinning, as Paul says in Romans. But anyways, I'm rambling here, but lots of thoughts.
What was your second thing?
I don't know. I'll get back to it.
I would say I probably struggle with pride the most. I don't think it's a secret. I'm pretty open about it. It's very hard for me not to want to be the best at something. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm the best at this. I'm better than all of you. Like it's not for that reason, but like just if I like something or if I want to do something, it's very hard for me to be like, my initial thought is not like God is the reason I'm in the position I'm in. Like it's by God's grace that I'm here. It's by God's grace that I can wake up tomorrow at 5:30 and front squat more than anybody else is front squatting in the whole world. Like it's not my doing, right? But like if it's very hard for me to. It's easy for me to say when I think about it, and I believe it. But like my day to day, I do not think about that. I don't think like I think about like if I want to do something or I have a passion for something, I'm gonna go all in on that. And like this is what I'm about to do this. You know what I mean? And my thoughts revolve around that and those goals, or like making predictions for the games. Like I want to be the best one. I want people to know that guy is better at predicting the games than everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that is very, I don't know if it's prideful in itself, but it definitely leads to prideful thoughts. Right. And like, I have a constant battle with keeping myself in check, you know, and Leslie is very good at it. One of the reasons I married her is that she's very good at humbling me. Sometimes too good. There's been times when I'm like, I get it, I got it. You know, like don't say it. Like I get it. But I would say I struggle with that, with pride running my day-to-day life. You know what I mean? And like there are times where I'm like, I'm going to focus on, for instance, reading, right? And I can be there in the moment. I can be there, right? And then like God's the reason anything is possible. I'm so blessed. I live such a blessed life, right? But then 30 minutes later, that's not in my head.
I feel that.
I'm right there with you. I think in particular guys have a hard time, not that some ladies don't by any means, but guys in particular have a hard time meshing ambition with submission to Christ. It reminds me of
That's
that
a really good way to put it. You should put that on a shirt.
Well, it's not an original thought, but sure. It just reminds me of that passage in James. It's James 4:13-15, when they say, like, come now, you who say today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a city and spend a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. So I mean, like, we can plan to change the world, and we should plan to change the world. But if God says, hey, I know you were planning on doing this, but I have you going this way, and you're going to be a garbage man for the rest of your life, or whatever. Not that garbage men are,
No,
not
that's cool. They're
job.
trash, literally.
But like, we just have to willingly drop everything at that point. But I'm with you, dude. Meshing those two is really, really hard, especially because like we all want to be great. We all want to like. I feel like my dad said this. Like, if you're a Christian, you should want to be the best, because not only is that like you're doing everything, and like this kind of goes along with the title of this podcast today, is like you're going along with doing everything you can for the glory of God. But then like it will, the better you are at something, the more attention it brings, and then the more you can deflect towards God. Say, hey, this is why I'm here. This is what. So, yeah, man, that's tough. I hear you.
And I mean, and it's cool. It's what's bad is I just need, like, I would say I would need just a constant reminder every day that I'm not anything. And like in a mean way, you know, because there will be times where, like, for instance, the first time I went on with the Glinton girls, and I was like, man, I would have never seen me ever have an opportunity like that. You know what I mean? To talk about God and Jesus with these two women who are curious. You know what I mean? Whether we agree or not, you know what I mean? And we leave the conversation disagreeing, it's fine, you know, or if there's a little bit of common ground, but not all the way, you know, whatever. But I would have never, like the fact that like what I do with like the podcast and all that stuff, like that led to that, is amazing. And I left that conversation and be like, wow, like God is working. I don't really like know what's happening, but God is working, and like that is amazing. And then I'll do a podcast where it's just the top. This is the 2025 games ranking, and I'm like, listen, I'm the smartest guy in the whole space. There ain't nobody that can do what I can do, right? Like we go back, let's look at every freaking year. That other dude has nothing on me, right? And I'll feel cocky as all over, like, and it'll just happen within the same week, and that's tough. Like it's like in that moment, you need to chill out. You need to calm it down.
Well, I think it's hard too because there's a line between cocky and confident. Like you should be confident if you feel like you're the best, and you've got data to back that up. Go for it. You know what I mean? But I see what you're saying. Like we got to be able to find that line or stop at that line. But where is that line?
That's what I struggle with. Where is the line?
Cocky.
I would say, and maybe
because
I'm
to
fine.
some people,
maybe I'm great. I know I shouldn't say that, but
to some people might get triggered easier. Like you
I don't
saying
care about people's triggers, bro.
You saying one thing might Daniel might think
like
you're being
3 different
cocky.
types of people. Like it's not.
But
I've
what
been
I'm
trying
saying
to
is
get canceled
like,
twice. Like you're not gonna. I'm not. I don't care about your triggers.
but
Well,
like Daniel
let him
might
finish the
think.
thought, man.
Daniel might think, oh well, dude, he's being cocky. He's being a douchebag. But then I might think, dude's just confident. He knows he's the best. He feels like he's the best. Kobe Bryant was the same way. Kobe Bryant would tell you, I'm the best. And he knew it. Like he was confident in it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what made me think of that, but big Kobe fan. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
Ricky
rambling
Bobby.
now, too.
He's just confident. I get you, man. I'm with you. I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. I got you.
Dude, that's such a good movie.
Okay.
Such a good movie.
Maybe the line is explained to us a little bit by Paul. I forget what book. I should know, but remember when he just lists the stuff that he's like, hey, if anybody has anything to boast about, here's my resume right here.
That is Rich's tattoo, isn't it, John? Galatians 6:14.
Yeah. It's nothing. Be far be it for me to boast except in the cross, and our Lord Jesus, by which the world has been crucified, and I to the world. I think it's around that.
Yeah. As for me, may I never boast about anything except the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ. Because of that cross, my interest in this world has been crucified, and the world's interest in me has also died. I think were you thinking about something different?
Yeah, it's not exactly this passage, but it goes along those lines.
He might be like in Corinthians, where
it's Corinthians or Romans, I think.
Dude, Corinthians, they were messing up.
Well, yeah. I'll find it, but
go ahead.
It's really not. I don't have much more besides that. Where he just he legit basically advocates for how awesome he is. And then says, but none of that matters because we're all equal in Christ, and there's only that to boast about. So, I don't think it's wrong for you to walk into whatever Grid League competition you're going to do this year and be like, hey, I'm about to win this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you win, it's not, I won this because I'm the best. I worked the hardest. I'm the strongest. It's because God's
grace allowed me to do this.
God gave me these gifts, exactly, and I'm using them to the fullness of my ability. But He can take them away just as quickly.
And I think that's where, going back to what we were talking about earlier, if you do that and then you do win and then you're cocky about it, well, then that discredits everything that you've said on this podcast or with the Glinton girls or whatever. Not discredits it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what
makes you
that's what makes people look at you like you're fake,
Yeah.
What I think you have that works for you is take this as a compliment.
Okay.
You are so blatantly forthright that, like, anybody that actually takes the time to get to know you knows that, like, where your heart is. So that's just kind of who you are. Like, 1 minute you're over here, the next minute you're over here. Like, but you're willing to say, yeah, you know what? They're both me. I'm an idiot in this case. Mm-hmm. Whereas the people that aren't willing to say that are the ones that it's like, like you're a bunch of baloney.
I have grown not grown, but like I have started to see that a lot of people don't like me until they meet me.
Yeah.
Like they think I'm something.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I just knew like your Grid League commentary, I'd be like, this guy's a jerk. But I mean, it's so real though when you actually get to know you, because like he's just speaking his mind. Let the guy talk, which is why that other guy that you sent me advocated for you so hard, because he actually knows you. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, just take a chill pill. I don't know, but
people are just soft.
That's what I say, Brock, and people get mad about it.
People are soft. I mean, it's honestly, it's ridiculous. People would not make it nowadays. People would not make it in the MJ era.
Gosh, just go home, bro. I got a question for you, Daniel. So Brock thoroughly believes, and I don't know if I believe it, but he thoroughly believes that people wouldn't try to cancel me and I wouldn't get in these situations if I wasn't a Christian.
I really don't think so.
I would say,
maybe not to the extent that they go to.
Yes, I would say it'd be tempered quite a bit if you were not a Christian, because there's nothing to attack then. As soon as you say that you're a Christian, then it's like, oh, well, you have to act a certain way. You have to be like this. You have to represent Christ in everything you do. So, of course, that and the world should hate you. Let's be honest. Like, Jesus spelled that out quite clearly in the Gospels. So there's a little bit of a combo going here. There's a higher standard for you because of what you claim. And then there's also, well, the world's going to hate who the world's going to hate because we should not be of this world. But I'm with you, Brock. I think that's astute.
Well, I mean, because if you go back and listen to some of the, I guess it would be the first major time, but when Mitchell Hooper posted all that stuff, like first major time
with the strong women. Does Daniel, do you know about the strong women thing?
No.
Okay, people tried to cancel me before the Grid League thing. It was
that was the second time you tried to get canceled?
Yeah. The first time was good. It was really good. No, but like Mitchell's biggest argument, and I think he posted a couple ones.
I said strong women are beautiful. I just can't do it.
Oh, I remember you saying that.
He said they were beautiful, just in a different way.
Like more profanely?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I just said I can't watch the strong, like the strong women. I've tried to watch them. I can't do it. I can't watch a 24-year-old juice to the gills with a deeper voice than me.
Nose bleeding,
and I just can't do it. And then the big one that sent people off, like Tyler a little bit set me up a little bit. He goes, you just don't like what they do, and I was like, no, I'm all for it. Like there are people who are fans of it. I like what you do. I just don't like what you look like. And then And then that's what
That
what
got
set people-
clipped,
Yeah,
and-
that got clipped, and people ran with that. And then man,
But
It was-
freaking Hooper, like that was one of his biggest
Dude, Mitchell-
arguments.
yeah,
was
Mitchell
that-
Hooper was
because
bad.
he was a
Do you know who
Christian.
Mitchell Hooper is?
No.
He's the
He's
world's
a-
strongest man. He's currently the
Yeah.
world's strongest man.
Okay.
And he tried to cancel me, and I'll send you the YouTube if you're curious about it. But
and it didn't work. Like,
what's funny
freaking-
is
Well,
Hiller made a video for that one too. He's bailed me out a couple times.
he got picked apart, like by he got picked
no-
apart after that.
No offense, but like, if you're the world's strongest man, why is he even messing with you?
Dude, I know. No, that's what made it crazy. Is because he has like 300,000 subscribers,
Yeah.
and even Spin's like big for the CrossFit space, but like has 9,000. 9.
Like, dude, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Like,
What are we doing?
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't know if Daniel knew about that or not. I knew about the Grid League one, but
but that one was. I don't know which one was stupider, honestly. I think the
Dude.
Grid League one was a little.
I think the
bit,
Grid League one was stupider because I didn't say
Absolutely
I
dumb.
don't think I said anything. Like the strong women one, I was like,
Dude, the only comment I thought was definitely like that was questionable was like one of the ones she didn't mention.
with Laura having sex with her brother.
Yes, that one I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
everything else is like,
Bro.
okay.
And Daniel doesn't get the context of that, but like that's not even about a strong one or a Grid League person.
Yeah.
It's about a
I know.
CrossFit person who's extremely close with her brother.
dude, people just soft, just so soft. You're the strongest man in the world, and you're talking about John Young talking about a strong woman.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? You know, everybody can have their own opinion. Like, people think I'm ugly. You know, whatever. If you don't like the way somebody looks, you have the right to that opinion.
No, my mom
Right.
called me and she goes, are you okay? Like, can you believe that he did that? And like, I mean, it's okay, mom. I was like, look how far I've made it. I've made it. I'm famous.
That's honestly, if you want to pick one where it's like, that's one, I think, because you're a Christian. How else do you explain that one? Like, why is that dude even messing with you?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
If Hiller would have said that,
Nothing, dude. What blows my mind, and this is the only reason why I give credence to you. I still think it's a little bit far fetched, but is that Sevon says some of the
dude,
craziest stuff
Yeah.
and gets nothing.
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 I mean, just flip it on the like. Let's take it from a completely worldly perspective here, and I hate to bring this up on a Christian podcast, but contrast what individuals in the right subgroups of society can do versus other groups in the non-Christian hemisphere. Like,
Oh, absolutely, dude. If you're gay or trans, you can do whatever you want. You know,
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I know
don't
that
what you're saying.
sounds.
Okay.
I know that
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
blunt,
dude.
and I don't mean that in a bad.
We don't
way.
sugarcoat anything. Like it's
Okay.
But like,
we have 5 people listening.
and everything has to go back to race now too.
Yeah.
Like it's
The
it's
race,
crazy.
I think the race thing is crazy. When people bring up the
Dude,
race
it's
thing, I
nuts.
think it's insane.
Like, dude,
So-
did you choose? Did either one of y'all get asked if you wanted to be white or black or Asian or Mexican or no? So what
They-
makes
I
me
did-
any better than anybody
They did
else?
give me a little bit of a survey, but I didn't answer anything.
I mean, it blows my mind. Racism is taught. If you go into kindergarten classrooms across America, it doesn't matter where you're at. There's going to be white kids playing with black kids, Asian kids playing with black kids, white kids playing with Mexican kids. They don't care. They just want to eat Play-Doh with each other. Like they don't. It doesn't matter. Like they just want to go slide down the slide. They're the
Brock-
same. They don't
Brock is
see that.
Big Play-Doh guy. Brock is
No, dude, it's ridiculous.
Big
dude.
Play-Doh guy.
It pisses me off. Like, golly, it drives me crazy.
Dude, that one's exceptionally nefarious. If you look, have you guys heard of Vodi Bakum at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So his book Fault Lines talked about this when it was all like it was right around 2020 during all the BLM stuff, and he harkens the actual critical theory stuff back to like a group of scholars that came over from Europe that were just pushing all the Marxism stuff, and then basically tried to say, okay, how are we going to make America fall? As like, let's get into the institutions and take them over, and then from there it just blossomed.
I think I read that book. Actually, I think I have it. Maybe
Good
I
book.
didn't read it, but I think I did buy it. He's a good pastor. He's good to listen to.
Yeah, he's entertaining to say the least.
Did you ever struggle?
Yeah,
Did you ever struggle with pride in college, Daniel?
Yeah, dude. I think mine was more though. Like mine is that sneaky pride, not the one that you have that you just walk in and like you can tell it's on your sleeve type of thing.
Mhm.
Mine is like the self-deprecating, sneaky, like, oh, he thinks that, or he's trying to come across humble. I wrestle with this. I probably will wrestle with this the rest of my life. But like, yeah, coming in with this, no, I'm not really that. No, I'm really that. And in my heart, I'm like, yeah, you dang right, I'm the crap type of thing.
Dude,
you know,
that's me, bro. I have a hard time with that myself.
You think
Especially
all like quiet people are like that?
no.
See, that's what's weird. Like I'm not quiet.
You're pretty quiet.
Not when you really like when.
Sure,
If
you're
I
not
don't- if
quiet
I
with
come
your
in-
friends. If we go into a group
Well, no.
and none of us know each other at all, nobody knows each other. I'm still talking.
Okay,
Y'all ain't talking.
That's just
I won't be the first one to talk. I'll say that.
You're just trying to compare introverts versus extroverts then.
I'm just wondering if that type of pride is more common in introverts than extrovert people.
I would think so, probably. The hardest part for me was figuring out what was actually pride versus like honest evaluation. Like when I was on these teams trying to think, okay, am I better than this guy? Do I think am I actually better, or am I just thinking I'm better? Am I worse? Like, and then eventually finding that spot where you're happy, or not happy, but finding that spot where you're comfortable to say, honestly, objectively, no, I am just as good or better than this guy. And there's no like pride with that. It's just like I'm looking at what's there. So that's hard to learn, I think, finding that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious how your mind worked on that, because I feel like in high school you would always undersell yourself.
Yeah.
You would always think like I didn't do very good, and you were like really good, you know. And then college, I think it was like I couldn't see that changing for you, but like it didn't come out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dude, I'll be honest. I don't think I really like started to get a little like kind of comfortable with that concept until I was almost out of football in general.
Like NFL or still college?
Yeah, the NFL, dude. I'm not. Maybe I didn't relay this as much to you as was what was going on in my head, but that pre-draft January to August for sure, but then there was another wake-up call in August of 2020. But pre-draft to that August, God was doing some serious work on my heart, because I was like, football was my God, 100%. And it crushed me when I decided to go run that 40 with a slightly bum hamstring. It crushed me, man.
It's the worst decision he's ever made, Brock.
Second worst, but I don't need to talk about the first.
Did you pull it? Like, did you?
No. He wasn't healthy.
So
and he decided
So
to
you
run the
weren't
40.
you weren't good enough.
I tweaked it. I was good enough to run a decent amount of time for 20 yards, but when you get to the 20-yard mark, that's when you hit top speed. So as soon as I got to the 20-yard mark, it was like, nah. So
And that was at the combine.
I was at the combine. Yeah, I had tweaked it before that, and I was like, no, I got to run. I've learned so much now, dude. If any of you guys end up having kids that want to go to the league, just let me know. I'll try to coach them on what not to do.
They gotta, they gotta be. We gotta get a little bit good for. Like he just act like, hey, if you want to do this, let me know. But
no, I'm more so
there's
like
some stuff that's gotta come into play before that. Leslie's genetics better not kick in very hard. That's all I'm gonna say.
We're still drinking milk before we go to bed here.
That's good stuff, man. Mine are too. So, no,
I just hope mine don't get the fat gene.
Yeah, Brock lost 100 pounds, Daniel. He used to be really fat, and then now he lost 100 pounds and he runs like a freaking gazelle.
Good for you,
dude. He's a long distance runner.
No, that's a freaking
If he grew up like cross country was his thing, I think he could have went to college for cross country.
Dude, that's crazy.
Like,
that is the craziest thing you've ever said.
He runs so natural, like long distance runs, right? Like it's so natural for him, like cadence and stuff, and just breathing and all the stuff I've had to try so hard to be good at, like that do not come natural to me, right? And he's like, our first time I ever met Brock, we did a team competition in South Carolina, and JR owns a pretty high level gym. Was like, hey, do you want to do this competition? I have a couple guys that need somebody. Do you want to do it? I'm like, sure, man, I'll do it. And then I met Brock. I didn't know who I was on the competition with, and Brock was like, hey, JR, can you just get like a couple guys my level? Turns out Brock's the worst one on the team. But dude, we have to run this 5K. 2 people have to wear a vest. 2 people don't wear a vest. Your time is your combined time, right? Okay. And I'm like, guys, I'm not a good runner. I don't need to wear the vest. And then and Brock's like, I've only started running for like 6 months. I didn't even know how to run,
which was
6
true.
months ago.
Which was true.
I was a full-time walker until 6 months ago. That's what Brock said. And then Nikita, who's pretty fit, he was like, I'll wear a vest. And then Christian is a bigger guy. He's like, I'll wear the vest. It's a big mistake.
In my defense,
wear the vest. Brock should have worn the vest. But go ahead.
Did he not say? Christian said he was a very good runner.
Oh no, he volunteered. He was like, I got this.
My argument was I had never ran with a vest on. And I was like, I'm about to do a 5K with a vest on. I don't think that's a good idea.
Anyway, Brock runs
he
runs like a 21:30 or something like that, a 5K, which is it's a sub 7-minute pace. It's like a 6:58 pace for 3.1 miles.
That's
I run the greatest 5K I've ever.
Trail.
It was a trail, so there's like an uphill part. I do the greatest run I've ever done in my life. And I don't even I'm so I don't know how this happened to me. I feel like Captain America. And Brock just and I see Brock 400 meters ahead of me, and he just looks beautiful. When you watch somebody run and it looks pretty. Yeah. They're not just running, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
That's what he looked like. And he's trying to run a marathon now. His body likes that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't. My body hurts when I run.
My body hurts when I lift, bro.
True.
But it still gets a lot better than everybody else at a quicker rate. That's what I'm talking about.
That's
If
fair.
it was easy, everybody would do it.
That's fair.
Daniel's body hurts playing football. Guess what? He still played football. And better than most people.
Yeah. Dude, I think that's one of so all of that, you talking about losing weight, I think that's where my pride comes from. Whenever I was fat, I don't feel like I was prideful. Because I guess I didn't have as much to be prideful about. I know that might sound stupid, but it was like whenever I lost a bunch of weight and I started getting a little bit muscular, started seeing abs, like had a six pack, blah, 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 blah. That's when I think that's when pride over like my physical body, if that makes sense, kind of started. Like, and I still struggle with it now. Like, I really don't like when people talk about me losing a bunch of weight, but I kind of do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's where the pride is, you know? Like just like that. Whenever he said, and it was just, I mean, it was just natural. It just came out. But whenever he said, yeah, it was like he ran like a 21:30, and then I had to throw in, oh, by the way, it was on a trail too. You know what I mean? Like dude,
in the snow.
like, come on, bro.
Took my ankle weights off, maybe real fast. It's like Dragon Ball Z. Took my weighted clothes off. Became a new person.
Pride's hard, man. That's tough.
Did you have a moment, Daniel, and then we can leave, where that stopped?
What exactly?
Your low-key pride.
No,
No, you felt it your whole career?
it's still going, man.
In sports, I mean, though. Not or you were talking about that too.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the setting, right? Like, if I show up at, like, let's say I got signed to a team, I'm not walking in thinking, like, oh, yeah, I'm better than everybody here, because I'm obviously not.
Well,
But
I'm thinking like when you were on the USFL, like speaking from no experience, I feel like if I was in the USFL and I was like, it's either going to happen or it's not going to happen, I would be like as carefree as I am. Like, it's probably it, but we'll see. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even have, it would just be a job. There would be no pride about it. Does that make sense? But I'm not in your shoes. Like, this is just me thinking of what I would be like in that situation.
expand upon that a tad.
My last year in when we were on the basketball team,
Mhm.
I have no pride. I'm there for you, really. If we're being honest, you know what I mean. I didn't want to play. You were like, I'm not gonna play if you don't play. like you know what I mean? Like, I'm just there. But like I had no pride in that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I think you're melding a little bit.
Not get me wrong, I had fun. I had fun. Like, it was fun, but you know what I'm saying though?
Yes.
I had no ambition.
Okay, I got you. Like, if I was in the USFL this year.
No, I just mean like your last year.
Well, there was still some ambition there because I was like, this is to get back in. I know I should get back in. This is to get back in. So even though the mindset was better, there was definitely still, I'm a bit of a bottler. I don't want to go on about me by any means, but the first game of the year, they had some dumb rules. I'll be straight up with you. The USFL, looking back on it, it was a good experience, but dude, after coming from Power 5 football and then an NFL team, like, I'm showing up to this, like, what the crap is going on around here? Like, the ops were sucky. Nobody knew what they were doing half the time with certain situations. The dress code was like, made no sense whatsoever. So
Rock, he told me, he goes, hey, I'm just letting you know, I'm never doing this again. Like,
yeah,
it's either I will not play football or I'm going to be back in the league. I'm never doing this again.
And you know what's funny? You know what's funny is I'm actually considering doing it again. So, but So the first game we had, they got us these pants, dude, and they didn't fit at all. Like they're falling down my butt. Okay. And they had to like jerry rig a belt into it to where it actually worked. And I'm like trying to make this belt work. It's too small. And so I just I'm trying to fit a new belt in
This
there.
sounds like a movie where
And
this
then-
guy gets kicked down to the league, and then it's the worst stuff you could have, like Bad News Bears type deal. like,
Well, and then I bought you have to pay for a lot of your own stuff because they didn't like give you much of anything. So I went and bought these tights or something like that, and they weren't allowed to be worn. I can't even remember. So I'm like as close to Christian cussing as you can do throughout the locker room right now. Just like, what is going on? We're about 30 minutes before kickoff, and I can't get my freaking pants on. Like,
what are we doing here, guys?
So I think that was just like the culmination of camp and all of that, where I was like, you know, I took it well compared to how I would have 5 years ago, but dude, there was part of me that was definitely like, I'm above this, which was not appropriate by any stretch of the imagination. So
I felt that through your text messages.
yeah, which and that's where the balancing method is, because like skill wise, yeah, I shouldn't have been there, but there were a whole bunch of other guys that could be in the league too that were there. Dude, the league is weird in that way. I mean, it's like the best players play, but it's the best players who aren't hurt at the right time in the best situation. So it's like, it's not, you know, it's not always the best player that's out there. It's the best player at that time in that situation. Is
there with the, I don't mean to get off track, but like with the USFL, is there money in that? Like, obviously there's not money like the NFL, but
yeah.
you know what I'm
It's
saying?
like how much money Joe Rogan makes, okay, for his podcast, and how much money I make for mine. That would be like the equivalent.
That's-
The difference in that.
It's probably not that steep, but it's a significant drop off. The practice squad for the NFL makes like rookies.
250, isn't it?
It's something like that. So it's about 5 times more than what the UFL guys make. So
It's like $100K. Like, it's still great.
no, it's 50.
I thought
If you're on the
it said
roster?
100K.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's 50.
It's that
And
for
then-
everybody.
Yeah, like the XFL was a little different. They gave some guys like more, but
Maybe
the
that's
USFL,
that's what it's in my head.
yeah.
Did you play in the XFL too?
No, just the USFL. Now they're
They don't
combined.
let Christians play in the XFL.
That's the Rock's deal, ain't it?
Yeah, they're not good. They're
Well,
not good.
yeah.
They're not good hot mic people.
Mm.
Yeah, I would have been a really bad hot.
You
mic
gotta
guy.
you gotta drink the tequila.
Whatever it is.
So
Kool-Aid,
are you
know.
still
Gosh dang it,
trying?
Dude, Kirk Cousins stuff is hilarious.
Dude,
I love
it
listening to
is.
his stuff.
it's great.
Dude, he's a good dude.
Yeah, no.
Well, from what I've seen.
yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things about him. I know John doesn't like him as a player, but I've heard nothing but good things about
I
him.
agree with all of the above.
Are you gonna try to go back to the NFL?
Nah, I mean, no. It's
He's about to do physical therapy school.
yeah. If someone called me during camp and said, "Hey, we want to sign you," I would talk to them and be like, "You have to tell me that I'm not just a camp body for me to even entertain this," which is very unlikely. So
Yeah, I like how you said you have to be the best player at the right time
Yeah, that's
and not hurt. Like, it took the Giants 5 years to realize Drew Lock is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. They finally, and it came to pass. Look, threw 5 touchdowns.
Dude, you know what was most frustrating for me was the difference between. Okay, we're an hour and 20 minutes in, so just cut me off whenever we need to. But I can talk about this stuff all day. Was the difference between the late round guys and the undrafted guys, because they're not making that much more than you. Like, their signing bonus was Like let's take someone in the 6th round or 7th round. Their signing bonus, let's say, is somewhere around 150, 200K. And then like an undrafted rookie is like maybe 10K. So yeah, it's 190K difference or 140K difference. But to these teams, it's like a drop in the bucket, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, okay, like realistically, like, yeah, you drafted this guy, but I have a reasonably decent chance. Like, no, because you got to think about it. These GMs are graded on how well their draft picks do. So even though that guy only costs 190K more than me, he's going to get all of the opportunities if it's a position battle between us, or 90% of the opportunities, because the GM wants to make sure that his record's good so that he can keep his job.
You got to be a whole lot
Corporate.
better. It's not just enough to be better. You got to be a whole lot better.
It's legitimately like walk-ons for scholarship in college.
That would be undrafted versus drafted.
Yeah.
How they're treated like in the program with opportunities and stuff.
Yeah, not like by staff or anything, but
yeah. So I mean, it's a business, That's crazy.
Yep. So it was fun though.
Hey,
Probably
Brock.
got to meet some cool people. Yo.
Guess who has more receiving yards, me or Daniel?
Is this a trick question?
Yeah, kind of. Not really though. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. If we ever have a high school football program, Daniel, I'm gonna say this every year.
Dude, do it. You should. 100%.
What position did you play, Daniel?
He played tight end.
I did. Just in the NFL, mind you. If you
and he does have catches. It's not like he doesn't have anything. He does have catches.
Yeah, I do.
So what? Okay, hold on, John. What did you play in high school?
I
receiver.
Although don't worry about it. All over the place.
No, we're just counting professional league. That's
no. Just in the NFL, who has more receiving yards than Daniel?
In the NFL.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I would think Daniel because he's been in the NFL.
That's fair. That's fair thought. I have more receiving yards.
Everybody listening has more receiving yards than me in the NFL.
Leslie Young has more receiving yards than Daniel does.
Yeah.
He's got -1.
Yep.
It's honestly a beautiful, beautiful stat.
I
know you're probably pissed off about
That's
it, but
crazy,
it's beautiful. Dude. It's beautiful. I think it's so great.
I've never been like pissed off about it, but I have grown to really appreciate it. Talk about like a little bit of a like, it's almost like a testimony right away. Like, oh yeah, you got more receiving yards than me. And for people to be like, when you offer that, people are like, why are you saying that? Like, you're just.
Yeah, it's fair. You can like really like yeah. I especially people that like look up to you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if you're at camps, like a high school camp or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you could really put them at ease.
Yeah. It's exactly. It's a nice icebreaker that just sets the stage for like you be you, man. I'm not gonna. So
you played for a year.
I played. I have 3 credited seasons, but I played in and out for 5 years.
In the NFL?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick, dude. For who?
Everybody.
Just in games or in general?
Can I guess like the order of like most to least?
For games?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. I feel like for games, it's not very many.
It's not.
49ers.
For most games?
Yes.
No.
It's the Raiders?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Well, I'm wrong already. Raiders. I remember you the most from the 49ers. Raiders, 49ers. I feel like that's it.
Yeah, if you count preseason games, then the Lions and the Chargers, but that's it.
But he's been around.
So how not to get? I'll end with this.
Which drives me wild, Brock. What's crazy is like the Vikings tight end, Johnny Munt on the Vikings. Like I think Daniel would run circles around. It's wild. Like he's not joking. Like it's not just yes, the best players play, but once you get past first string, I don't know if that's always the case, because Johnny Munt sucks. He doesn't have good hands. He can't catch. It's crazy.
Well, tight end's that's a hard position too, because you not only do you have to catch, you got to be able to block too. You know, maybe not as often in the NFL, maybe, but I mean, you still got to be able to hold your own against the defensive end. You know,
I'm biased, but I would argue if you combine both the mental and the physical, tight end is the hardest position on the field.
Over quarterback.
Yeah, a quarterback by far mentally is way harder. But when you combine, like, the quarterback does not have to block someone that's bigger than him, and he does not have to run around against someone that's faster than him.
And he doesn't get hit like much anymore, you know, kind of like the LeBron and MJ thing. So,
all right, yeah, you're right. I guess Tom Brady's not the best quarterback of all time. Joe Montana is. That's what you're
no, Tom Brady's for sure the best quarterback of all time. No doubt.
Daniel disagrees.
No, I'm not going to argue that one.
It's okay. Give it a couple more years.
Yeah, I was just saying, Mahomes will be there eventually. But
yeah.
In terms of talent, I don't know if there's been anybody better than him.
Mahomes?
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean,
I'm just not a fan.
I mean, I think
I'm not a fan of his
if
attitude.
if he wins 5 rings, like it'll already be like he's the best quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
Brady.
You don't like his attitude? What do you mean by that, bro?
I don't mean as I was thinking, attitude's not the word, but I don't like
his girlfriend, his wife.
No, that don't have nothing to do with it. I don't like guys.
I'm with you. His voice.
I don't know his language.
What's wrong with Patrick?
That's one thing I don't like. I saw something a while back talking about how he was a Christian and this and that. Well, then I hear a mic'd up thing from him, and he's dropping F-bombs and mother F this. Like, I don't get down with that. I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if it's Travis Kelce.
This was a prior episode that we talked about this.
Really,
dude, and that's God. I can't. I have a hard time with that, dude.
Dude, football is. I mean, you guys both know this, but football is its roots are in the South, and the South still has that. I'm a cultural Christian to it, so. I mean, the road is narrow. That's what Jesus says. So I'm not one to judge people's hearts, but based on a lot of actions,
right? No, I agree, 100%. It's hard for me. Like we talked about at the beginning, it's hard for me to you talk about you don't want people to think that you're that hypocrite or that you're fake like that. Well, then when maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't be getting into this, but and it's not even people on Mahomes' level. Like, I mean, you can almost, it may be bad to say, but you can almost expect that from people at that level. But I'm talking like even your lower level guys, like, gosh, I don't know, like somebody, say for example, somebody at the gym. They claim to be a Christian, this and that. They say they're a Christian, blah, blah, blah. And again, not judging their heart, but you judge people by their actions. Not judging them, but I'm judging you based on what I see you do, the way you live. Well, this person that is claiming to be a Christian and whatnot, they drop a big lift and scream GD. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, everybody screws up. I've been at work and hit my finger with a wrench and cussed. Like, I'm not above that. Like, I'm not any better than that person because I don't do that at the gym.
It just turns you off.
You gotta.
But I think everybody has things like that where it's like an immediate just turn off,
Mm-hmm. Oh no, that's tough for me.
No, cussing's a big thing with Brock. It's not as big for me. I'm with you. I do think if you claim you're a Christian, and then everywhere is the F word. That probably is.
You can
stacking
tell.
up well. Like, you know what I mean.
You can tell
but-
when somebody smashes their finger and cusses,
right. Yes.
versus somebody
yes.
who that's their normal language.
No,
You know what I mean? That's
No,
where
I
I have
agree.
an issue with it.
I agree.
But I've got things that I struggle with too. So I'm not at all trying to say that I'm better than that. Like, I don't want to come across like that. That's just kind of my thing. That's one of my things that is a hang up for me. Like, that's just one of. I'm rambling now too.
I
That's
feel
some-
like. Go ahead.
Danny.
No, go ahead, man. It's all you.
I was just saying that's something I never really struggled with.
I feel like they should be inversely related, almost like with your age, not your age, your maturity as a Christian. Like, if you're a baby Christian, it's like, all right, I'll give you some grace.
Yeah.
You're coming in from some stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you're like 15, 20 years in,
you got some stuff.
you got some stuff. You got some stuff. You're figuring it out a little bit. You're early.
I think it.
You're on
it
your
also is-
journey. You're on your journey.
I think it's also different from person to person because like for me, that's an issue with me because I used to have a filthy mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it I guess it hits more home with me because like it's the same. It's the same way with me and like really fat people. And I know that sounds terrible. Like, I know,
Hey, Brock
I know
can't go
for
to
a
Walmart
fact-
because he'll get grossed out.
dude, I know for a fact that you can lose that weight. You're just lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that you can't lose it. It's not that it's harder for women to lose weight. You just are lazy. You
Tell him.
don't eat what you're supposed to. You don't work
Yeah.
out. Dude, that drives me insane.
I hope you're listening, babe.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
dude, no,
Oh,
no,
my
no.
Brock said it.
Leslie,
That's
I'm
Brock
sorry.
said it.
crazy.
Yeah, you're the one who said it, Brock. I didn't
No.
say it.
Dude, that's crazy.
Dude, you can't be saying stuff like that.
Dude,
man.
somebody clip
Oh,
that.
dude. Leslie knows
Come
I love her.
on.
No, we mess around with that stuff all the time, man. We we're great. We're like Leslie will come like and she's as pregnant as can be. Like she's due any day. And she
What's
goes
the due date?
the 21st, but she's been
Okay.
measuring. Abby's been measuring 5 days like ahead of schedule. So like anytime.
Hey, we're either. Sorry, before you keep going, were either one of you big babies?
No, I was 7'8", and she was 6'9". But Abby's supposed to measure like 8.5.
Okay.
Oh, look, I'm sitting here shaking my head like you were talking to me and John. You were talking about John. and Leslie.
Brock's like,
I'm like, nah,
I
I
was
was
like, yeah,
6'14".
I was a big baby. Uh-huh. Well, I was a double digits, let me tell you.
Oh, man. I'm such an idiot.
Why?
Because they weren't going to ultrasound Miranda a growth scan at 36 weeks because she was measuring normal until she said that my family had a history of big babies. And then once they did it, like, oh, shoot, you got a monster in there. So,
Yeah. No, she's supposed to be, I think, like 8 to 8.5. But I mean, Leslie's like, she's 2 centimeters dilated, 40% effist.
wow.
Whatever. So like, it can happen, right?
Yeah.
But she walks out and she goes, I feel so big. And I'm like, you are. You're a big old thing. And then like I was like, man, I felt the floor kind of shake when you waddled over here. It's like we are great with that. So like Daniel, I'm in my grid league body right now. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be strong, which means I'm a little bit heavy. It comes with it, right? And I got on the scale the other day, and I was like, "You want to guess what it is?" And like, I weigh 204, okay, which is anything over 200. I'm a little bit heavy. Under 200, I'm normal. And she goes, "I mean, the way you kind of look right now, maybe 220." And I was like,
Oh my god!
I was like, oh no. like no, we're it's when people like are like, you can't say that to like your wife or your husband or something. We're great with that stuff. Nothing. Now, if she's struggling to work out and stuff after the baby, I'll probably be a little more sensitive about it. But I don't think she'll struggle that much. People that do CrossFit, like they bounce back so quickly. Every person I know that does CrossFit bounce back so fast. Regular people too, not just the games people. Like one of my girls had a baby, and she's 5 months ago had a baby, and she's probably the fittest she's ever been. Before baby, like with everything, and like body looks great, just like it looked like before she got pregnant. 5 months from then, and she's nothing like special as far as fitness goes. You know what I mean? She's not like a games athlete or anything like that. She's just a normal 40-year-old mom that goes in the gym and kills it every day and bounces back like that. And I think Leslie will be very similar to that.
Well, yeah, you're prepping for basically an injury. It's like those that prep before they have ACL surgery. That's why they started doing it, so that you were better when you came out from it afterwards. So, yeah, I don't understand why most people are like, oh, that does, like, how did that happen? Well, because they had a habit and process beforehand, and they set their body up to succeed shortly afterwards. So it's not mind-blowing by any means. It's just, it's hard.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna say it's not hard. I'll be interested to see what happens. How is Destiny with that stuff, Brock? Is she into CrossFit?
No. I've tried. She's not. That's just not her thing.
Which is
she
fine.
bounces back quick.
It's fine, but I just think women who do CrossFit bounce back quick.
Yeah, she normally. Well, we're still only like 2 months out.
We're getting it, Kayla. Don't worry, girl. We're taking care. JY Barbell athlete, Daniel.
Oh, nice.
She's got 10 weeks out.
She got 2
kids. I can't believe Steve
stuff.
pays you to train her. That's crazy.
What are you trying to say, brother?
Nothing, man. You're great.
I'm making monsters over here, man.
I know you are. I'm impressed. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, no, she's only 10 weeks from, I think she's 10 weeks old. Yeah, so she's 10 weeks from, so she's still pretty fresh, but no, she normally bounces back pretty quick.
How is Miranda with that stuff, Daniel?
I mean, you could probably take a gander.
I'm curious how you guys are with that though.
She is.
She's got like a little girl body.
Yeah, she doesn't. In terms of like weight, the scale is never going to be high for her.
It's just muscle and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's just comp, like because she doesn't a lot of times really. Now, admittedly, now with 2 kids, it's tough, man. It's tough.
She probably has the biggest biceps she's ever had just from holding the babies all day.
Dude, if she tried to carry Titus around, heck yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Titus is a big old boy.
Dude,
how old are your kids?
The eldest will be 3 in March, and the youngest is 4 months.
Dude, that's weird.
Dude, we're all gonna have like babies.
My
together.
Oldest is
it's gonna be
crazy. 3 in February, and my youngest, she'll be 3 months and like.
Oh wow!
Yeah, dude.
We're pretty similar.
Nice.
That's wild. We're literally all gonna have infants.
What boy,
time.
girl? What do you have, Brock?
1 boy, 1 girl.
Nice.
The oldest is a boy. The last one's a girl.
Nice.
Do you want a
two's
girl,
definitely different.
Do you guys want a girl?
Do I want a girl?
Yeah.
No.
You're set? You're good with what you have?
Oh no, I mean, if I could, I'd have. I mean, we'd love. I think our goal would be 4, but I mean, if the good Lord decides to give us 6, sure, let's do it.
They have big families. They both come from big families.
I think I'm good with boy and girl.
Daniel's like one of like 8, and Miranda's
Really.
1 of 7. The youngest. The youngest was adopted too. So
He's got like caveats to his family. And Miranda's what? 4 people?
nah, just 3.
Eric, her, Alyssa. That's it. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Abby might be it, guys.
Dude, if it was up to me, Brooks would have been it. Dude, he was perfect. Perfect. Dude, he was.
8
He
years,
was literally.
8 years from now, I'm gonna bring up this video, and your youngest child is gonna hate you.
Dude, literally, like, so I just said Baker is 10 weeks old, and I'm in the nursery right now. Obviously, she's not asleep in there. So, Brooks, we put him in his crib when he was like 4 weeks old, 3 weeks old, something like that. And from that moment on, he slept 12 hours every single night.
Oh wow!
Yes, I'm telling you, he was perfect. And then Baker, it's been different for sure.
You think
Not in a bad way.
You think Jesus was a bad baby or a good baby?
Dude, I've thought that before. Like, do you think that he, like, because Mary carried the Savior of the world, like, did
He like let her sleep.
did she get to did she get to sleep all night long, or
like a
I mean,
perfect,
surely she got
like
to
8 hours every day?
Yeah.
I'm curious how that, like, obviously he never sinned, but like if you look at a baby and when they cry, I wouldn't. They're very self-centered. They're crying because they're like, I want what I want and I want it now.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, I don't know.
Like they have an id, and Jesus would have to not have an id.
I don't know, dude, because the pastor made a comment, the one I had you listen to, John, like a couple weeks ago, that he was like, he was a normal baby, which means he cried. I was like, okay, well, I mean, let's talk about that, please. Not that
when he was 4 or 5, like he's like, no, I want that bread now. Give me that bread.
Can you imagine being his brother? Like, if anything went wrong, Jesus was like,
that's probably why they made fun of him, dude.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, it was him. He did that.
Dude, he had to have been
He went and stole it from Abraham.
You know, he was a weird kid in school. Like, he was probably the weirdest kid.
Jesus was the biggest tattletale I've ever seen.
Dude, had to be.
Let's not go that far.
You don't think he was? He couldn't lie, Daniel.
No,
and they were like, Jesus, who did it?
Well, yeah, if he was asked, for sure. Or he would come up with some like super eloquent, like, whoever's without sin be the first to throw the stone.
Quoting scripture in kindergarten.
And what is exactly being done? Like, he might have been like a philosopher a little bit. I'm just thinking, like, if I was like a 12-year-old Jewish boy and I did something wrong and Jesus knew it, hey, and then they ask Jesus, who did it, Jesus? Because they know he's Jesus and they know he wouldn't lie. And then I'm just looking at Jesus, you better not. Like I feel like he always did, you know? I would love to know those situations. There are none of that's in the Bible, like his teenage years. And I wish so badly that we would have some type of stuff with that teenage boys deal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder if there's like
all the things. Okay.
You know, like the Book of Enoch and stuff like that. I wonder if like lost in ancient years, if there was ever like an account of his teenage years. Of course, I don't know why there would be, because they didn't really. I mean, yeah, he was different than other people, but up until his late 20s, early 30s, like nobody really knew who he was. You know what I mean? other than his parents.
Okay, guys, I gotta feed this.
It's
devil.
10:45. I gotta be up in like 5 hours.
He's getting on. Usually these are an hour, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I probably way extended
No.
this.
Yeah, we just need to get in a habit of like either moving quicker or ending it. Because we usually don't go on this long. We also usually start earlier, but it's my fault. I wanted to eat food. But all right, guys. I know this was a little bit of a rambling show. We'll get better. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you want us to talk about anything, put it in the comments, and that will be the first topic we talk about next week. It's a pleasure having everybody.
Next week, 8:30, somewhere